A compendium of the Bible, the study of Zechariah. The universal translation of both Jews and Christians endorses the prophet Zechariah as author. His name, common to more than 29 Old Testament men, means the Lord remembers. This book is second only to Isaiah in the breadth of the prophets writing about the Messiah. Like Jeremiah and Ezekiel, Zechariah was also a priest, according to Nehemiah chapter 12, verse 12 through 16. According to transition, he was a member of the great synagogue, a council of 120 originated by Nehemiah and presided over by Ezra. This council later developed into the ruling elders of the nation, called the Sanhedrin. He was born in Babylon and joined his grandfather Ado in the group to exist, whose first return to Jerusalem under the leadership of Zerubbabel and Joshua, the high priest of that time, found in Nehemiah chapter 12, verse 4. Because he is occasionally mentioned as the son of his grandfather, found in Ezra chapter 5, verse 1, chapter 6, verse 14, and Nehemiah chapter 12, verse 16, it is thought that his father died at an early age before he could succeed his father into the priesthood. Zechariah's opening words are dated from 520 BC, the second year of King Darius, found in chapter 1, verse 1. The Persian Emperor Cyrus, who had died and was succeeded by Chabasis, who served from 530 to 521 BC, who conquered Egypt. He had no son. He killed himself, and Darius rose to the throne by quelling a revolution. He was a contemporary of Haggai and began his prophesying 2 months after him. He is called a young man in chapter 2, verse 4, suggesting that Zechariah was younger than Haggai. The length of his ministry is uncertain. The last dated prophecy, according to chapter 7, verse 1, came approximately 2 years after the first, making them identical in time with Haggai's prophecy of 520 to 518 BC. Chapter 9 through 14 are generally thought to come from a late period of his ministry. Differences in style and references to Greek indicate a date of 480 to 470 BC, after Darius I, who served from 521 to 486 BC, and during Xerxes' reign, who served from 486 to 464 BC. the king who made Esther queen of Persia, according to Matthew chapter 23 and 35. He was murdered between the temple and the altar, a fate similar to an early Zechariah. In 2 Chronicles chapter 24, verse 20 and 21, who had been stoned to death. Zechariah joined Haggai and the roll of the people from their indifferences, challenging them to resume the building of the temple. Haggai's primary purpose was to rebuild the temple. His preaching has a tone of rebuke for the people's indifference, sin, and lack of trust in God. He was used to start the revival, while Zechariah was used to keep it going, strong with more positive energy, calling the people to repentance and reassuring them regarding future blessings. Zechariah sought to encourage the people to build the temple in view of the promise that someday Messiah would come to inhabit it. The people were not just building for the present, but with the future hope of Messiah in mind. He encouraged the people still downtrodden by the Gentiles' power. First chapter 1, verse 8 through 12. With the reality that the Lord remembers his covenant promises to them and that he would restore and bless them. Thus the name of the book, which means the Lord remembers, contain its seed, form, and theme of the prophecy. It is often called, related both to Zechariah's immediate audience as well as to the future. This is borne out in the structure of the prophecy itself, since in each of the three major sections, chapter 1, verse 6, 7, 8, 9, and 14, the prophet begins historically and then moves forward to the time of the second advent, when Messiah returned to his temple to set up his earthly kingdom. The prophet reminds the people that Messiah had both an immediate and long-term commitment to his people. Thus concludes an overview of the book of Zechariah.